Alright, let's get into this next game here of Skaven versus Orcs, 2,400 points, and it's my brother versus me, and we tried to see if anybody wanted to come out and play, and it was just one of those weekends where we got no responses, and we were just like, I want to play, and he's like, yeah, I want to play too. I was like, hey, let's play each other. So, my brother and I, we went and we pulled out a scenario out of the book, and we rolled for it, and we got Dawn Attack. Dawn Attack is the one where basically, if you roll to see where your guys go, and on a 1 they're on the left flank, on the 2 they go on the right flank, 3, 4, 5 are in the middle. And you can see on this picture right here, this is basically like majority of my army got 1, and well, the bigger units got 1. I got the left side over there, we have 27 Savage Orcs with the biggins, with big Stabba, champion, or no musician, standard bearer. I got the Ragnarok Spider, who could barely fit inside the 18 inches that I'm provided there. And then with the Howdah crew, no upgrades. I got the Boar Boys, biggins, with Gorbad Ironclaw and a Flaming Banner, because I knew my brother was going to bring his helmet. This is also a list that I'm trying to work with for Blood in the Sun. I'm hoping that I could get a little bit better luck in Blood of the Sun than what I'm seeing recently, but I might have to just change my list entirely. Next to them is the Doom Diver. We got also 3 Trolls, and then right next to him we have, or behind them, we have 21 Night Goblins with 3 Fanatics inside. Here's another picture. And then we have another 20 Night Goblins with Fanatics inside. And then on the right flank, which were the number 2s, these 3 guys got bastardized. One of them is a Goblin Shaman on a Wolf, the Manglishquig, and then another Goblin Lord, Lord Chickenhead as I call him. He has the Sword of Might, a shield, and Armor of Destiny, and he's on the right flank. He's my War Machine Hunter with his overpriced stuff. For the level 2 Undead Shaman, Goblin Shaman that's on the Wolf, he got Soul Stealer and Grave Call. I believe I got 2 shitty ones. I got like the Harbinger, which I mean, like the Harbinger, you got to throw a lot of dice to get something good on it. And so I just kind of took the Grave Call, and then Soul Stealer, I just took it for straight up. For the level 4 Savage Orc Shaman that's inside the unit of Savages, he also has a Lucky Shrunken Head. He got Foot of Gork, Hand of Gork, Fist of Gork, and Here We Go, which are pretty much the best lineup I think you could get. And then we're going to go over the spells since we're on the spells, we're going to go over the spells for the Skaven. Skaven, my brother got Warp Lightning, Skitter Leap, Scorch, and he took the dreaded 13th. And his level 4 is Thanquol and Bone Ripper right in the middle, as you can see them right there. In front of Thanquol and Bone Ripper, he has 3 Jezzails that we custom made. He also has a Warp Lightning Cannon, 6 Rat Ogres with Squeal Gnawtooth, the special character that boosts up one of their stats. And then he has 2 units of slaves right behind them, and a huge block of 37 or 38 storm vermin with halberds. He also has 2 units of giant rats like this, and then he also has the Hell Pit Abomination. Who could forget that big boy? He also has gutter runners and the storm fiends, and that's about it. We're gonna go over what the forests were. Over here you can see this little token. He decided he was going to put his Storm Fiends here. That's where they're going to tunnel out by turn 2 or 3. And it's pretty funny though, because I saw that and I'm like, well, you know, he's expecting me to walk past it and then have my flank exposed. But if he pops up right there, the Fanatics are going to pop out. Okay. So that was kind of funny to me. For Squeal Gnawtooth, he gave his Rat Ogres additional attack, so they all get +1 attack on top of their Frenzy and their 3 attacks already in Stomp, so they're getting a ridiculous, I think between the 6 of them they get 24 attacks. I may be wrong, but 24 plus Stomp's probably like 27 attacks. Anyways, and then the forest, one of them was the Fungus Forest, which gives Goblin Stubborn, which was good, but it also gives everybody Stupidity. And then the other one was a Wildwood, which is I would take D6 strength 4 hits if I stick there. So we're gonna go ahead into turn 1. I got the roll. Well, I was the one who deployed for, and he did not steal the initiative. So it's Orcs and Goblins turn 1. We're gonna go over Vanguards first. Both my Wolf Riders, since they were on the same flank, they're gonna go ahead and Vanguard up the right side. And then for animosity, my Ignite Goblins failed animosity, which sucks because they're the ones who were stuck in the wildwood. And they squabble. Ah, man. Mangler on the compulsory moves up, and he gets a huge roll, like a 17 or something, so he just flies up. And then on the actual move, my both my Wolf Riders just went up more. And again, can't charge on the first turn, but doesn't matter. I just wanted positioning. My spine up to this forest, and this forest is a blood forest, which takes any if any magic is casted or casted into it, it damages people who are standing in it and then walks away. And then over here you can see like the boar boys, the trolls, and the savages. They all moved up, and I left my night goblins back there on purpose just in case when the storm fiends pop up, they're just gonna eat 6 fanatics. Magic phase got 11 power dice, and the first thing I do is I throw 5 dice and the magic mushroom onto Grave Call, and so I go for the big spell, and I actually popped up a unit of Vargeists, and it's the first time I've actually ever successfully cast a Vargeist, which was pretty cool. Got some monstrous infantry running up the flank now. I used the rest of my 6 dice onto the foot of Gork, and I got a very low roll, and he dispels it. I mean, I got, I think, barely the 18, and with Thanquol, he's, I think, counts as a level 5, I believe. I might be wrong about that, but he still kicked my ass on the roll, and yeah, so that got dispelled. And then shooting phase, I I rolled 2 dice, and I realized I rolled 2 artillery dice. I didn't actually roll the scatter dice. So we redid it, and it was still a misfire, which sucked. And the misfire was skid marks. So skid marks is the first unit that got shot in the path from the chosen target, and I just nailed my night goblins in the rear, killed 3 of them. The second doom diver, he just kind of flew off to nothing. I mean, he had a good range of hitting something, and he still just kind of shot off to nothing, which sucks. So that was it for shooting, and there was nobody in close combat. We're gonna go ahead and start Skaven turn 1 now. So he goes for charges his giant rats and his slaves into the Ragnarok. He charges these giant rats into the Vargeists to tie them up, and his giant rats failed on this charge here, but his slaves got in, and they're holding up my Ragnarok for a turn, if that. And then his Hell Pit was scared of my Ragnarok or something. Oh, he was scared of the boar boys with the flaming banner, so he went back towards his general over there. He sent up the rat ogres and his slaves here, and then that was about it. He goes into magic phase. He gets 8 power dice. First spell he does is warp lightning, and I believe he tries to shoot this guy right here, and he does connect, but he, like, look at these rolls. They were all pathetic. I think this is like how much to wound, and it just didn't wound him, so he's fine. He throws up the storm banner, which this comes into play later on. We forgot about it, and he remembered later on, and we did a combat because of that. Over here, he shoots his rattling gun at my goblin lord here, and again he gets a bunch of wounds off, like 4 or 5 wounds. But that guy has the Armor of Destiny, and I ward saved all of it. It was crazy. So he's still alive, even though he took a rattling gun to the face. Warp Lightning Cannon goes ahead and shoots at my Ragnarok. Even though he's tied up in combat, he's tied in combat with slaves, and apparently Skaven just don't care if they shoot through slaves. Slaves are just slaves. So he shoots through the slaves, and he gets a strength 10 hit on the spider, and he goes to roll to see how much it multiplies by, and it only did 1 damage. Woo! 1 damage onto the spider. Spider lives another day. I mean, he has 8 wounds anyways. He can take a cannon shot and live with a full 6, but that was pretty scary still, regardless. Close combat, the spider just wipes out the slaves. They had no chance at all. I mean, he gets thunderstomps, he gets 8 attacks himself and 8 attacks with the Howder crew, and they actually, I think they failed fear anyways, but it just didn't matter. So he just destroyed the whole unit. And then over here, these Vargeist just ripped a hole through those giant rats. So we're gonna go ahead and start Orcs and Goblins turn 2 now. Alright, let's see what we got going on for charges here. We got the boar boys, the trolls, and the Ragnarok all going for that unit of rat ogres over there. Unfortunately, only the trolls made it through. I was going to take dangerous terrain for the boar boys going over that rocky cliff, but didn't even happen. I'm going to go ahead and charge my wolf rider into the rattling gun, and I'm also going to go ahead and charge the Vargeist into the Warp Lightning Cannon, and this is the mistake I made with the, I forgot the Storm Banner was on, so they couldn't fly over that unit of Storm Vermin. So that kind of sucked. Over here we have the Mangler move up, and I also moved up my Undead Shaman. Magic Phase got 8 power dice, and I'm going to go ahead. I tried to do, I believe, like 2 on Grave Call for some skeletons, and he dispelled it because he already figured he had enough going on in his flank. And then I go ahead and I throw 6 on the Foot of Gork, and I get it off irresistibly, so he can't even dispel scroll it. And I try to throw it onto the Hell Pit Abomination. I figured that would probably be one of my better targets. Hindsight 2020, could have done it on either the Storm Vermin or even try to do it on his Lord or the Rat Ogres. But I just figured, you know, he has a high toughness, and my units that are coming in for him, they're going to need a high strength to get over him, and the Foot was like a strength 7 right now. First time it drifts, I roll 4, 5, or 6 to happen again. Second shot, I actually get a direct hit, fail to wound. Roll 4, 5, or 6 to happen again, I get it again, and I clip him, just barely I clip him. And I go to wound, and I roll for a 2. Well, so I got 2 hits on him, but both of them failed to wound. Roll 4, 5, or 6 to happen again, and I roll a 2, which means he got bored, and he walked away. He got tired of trying to stomp on the Hell Pit, who didn't want to die. My miscast, I got magical feedback. So basically everybody who's a wizard on my side takes a strength 6 hit. So my Orc Shaman took a strength 6 hit, and my Night Goblin, or my Goblin Shaman on the Wolf took a hit as well. Shooting phase, I again forgot that the Storm Banner was up, so I did both my shots on my Doom Divers, and then afterwards I rolled for it to see if I would have been able to shoot with them anyways, and I was able to. Shoot for the Storm Vermin. First one gets a direct hit, second one drifts off 2 inches and gets basically comes on in. They only killed like 3 guys though. That was stupid. So that was nothing for all those. And then we're going to go ahead and into the close combat with the Trolls. He uses his Verminous Bodyguard, which is the rat that's with Squeal. And as you can see right here, he actually got 1 wound with just the Verminous Bodyguard onto one of my Trolls. And then he goes, I mean, his initiative is much faster. So he goes and does all his attacks first. And he did like 18 wounds. I mean, there was no way in hell I could regen all those wounds. And so basically he destroyed me. He gets a free reform because I charged him. He didn't charge me. And even though he's frenzied. And yeah, that's how that's going to end right there. Over here, my Lord Chickenhead, he just destroyed the Rattling Gun. He just shoved the hammer right up one of the cannon holes. And then over here, the Vargeist, they destroyed the Warp Lightning Cannon, and they get to overrun because they're frenzied, and they're going to clip Bone Ripper and Thanquol. And sure enough, that was about to happen. And then he remembered, wait, the Storm Banner was up. They shouldn't have killed that Warp Lightning Cannon. So we took back the move, and we said they would have charged into the Storm Vermin based on Frenzy, because even though the first time I passed my Frenzy check, the second time I didn't, and we just had him take on the Storm Vermin, and the Storm Vermin killed off my Vargeist instead. So that really sucked. It was kind of saddening. It was a sad day for the Vargeists. So off to Skaven turn 2, and a lot of things are happening here. We're gonna go first off. He's gonna go ahead and charge the Rat Ogres into my Ragnarok Spider, and they fail their charge. They don't actually get in. And then he moves his Hell Pit Abomination closer to the Ragnarok Spider, so he's going to try to double team the Spider. He also notices that my Fanatics were waiting for his Storm Fiend, so he moves his Slaves up so they could just release the Fanatics, period. So it marches them up, and I have to release the Fanatics, so of course I'm going to have to throw them into the Slaves. And sure enough, 2 of them fall short, 1 of them goes right through, and the one that goes through kills off 5 guys. Thanquol and Bone Ripper move up, and they're just kind of like literally in the center bubble, so that way everybody kind of has a good leadership bubble going on with his 18-inch generalship. And then, bam, the Storm Fiends are popping up, and I'm going to go ahead and release the Fanatics. And out of the other unit, which was lucky enough just to be a little bit further behind, and I'm going to go ahead and throw all 3 of them literally through. One of them falls just short of going through the trees. The other 2 ran into each other, but they clipped through all of it. All the Storm Fiends, and we kill off 1 Storm Fiend and get 1 more wound, so that's 5 wounds total. Unfortunately, he still has the Rattling Gun up and Grinder Fist. Over here you can see his Jezzails. They rearranged so they can start shooting this way at the Mangler or the Wolf Boy, And that was about it for movement. We're gonna go into magic. Magic. He got 11 power dice. 11. Holy crap! Oh, and I forgot to mention that these gutter runners popped up over here. So first thing he does is he does skitter leap, and he tosses his. And I let it through. I couldn't really do anything to stop it. I think I tried to stop it, but I couldn't with my dice that I threw. And he pops up his doom rocket onto the other side here, and the doom rocket's just staring down the flank of my savages and my boar boys. And he's about to blow them up. Second one he does is warp lightning, and on warp lightning he goes ahead and throws it onto Gorbad's unit here, and he gets a hit and kills off one boar boy. Nothing I can do about that. Then he goes for Scorch, and Scorch I actually let it go off, actually that one I stopped. I threw the dice on to stop because I was like, I don't know, I've never actually had Scorch used against me yet. And then he's like, okay, well, we're just gonna throw the rest of our dice onto the dreaded 13th, and he actually gets it off. And he goes for my unit of night goblins over here, and he kills literally 13 of them. And if he would have had 4 more, he would have turned that whole 17 block into rats, giant rats, or clan rats. So that sucks. Oh man. So shooting phase, he's gonna go ahead and do the doom rocket first. Doom rocket shoots, and it aims at the edge over here, and it clips literally the last boar boy. And when it clips that, it blows up into the huge pie template, and it kills off literally 2 guys, which, I mean, that could have been a lot worse, but I'm glad that it was only 2. His warp lightning cannon shoots straight at Gorbad, and he gets a strength 2 hit, and it blows up right here, and it kills off another 2 guys. What the fuck, man? I failed like a strength 2 armor check. I had like a 3-up armor, and I rolled a 1 and a 2, and he rolled like 6s to wound. It's ridiculous. Then he's gonna go ahead and shoot his Rattling gun right onto my my Doom Diver, and it actually failed to wound, and he re-rolled his wound and everything, but it just failed to wound. And then in close combat, his giant rats try to attack the Ragnarok, but the Ragnarok just kind of squashes them, and those are some dead giant rats. And then we're going to go into Orcs and Goblins turn 3 now, and OG's turn 3, we're going to go, and I'm going to charge my Lord Wolf Boy over here into the Jezzails. The Jezzails are going to go ahead and stand and shoot, but they failed to do anything onto me. And then I'm going to go ahead and roll. Look at this, another 16 on the Mangler. Mangler goes ahead and he tears through that unit of Storm Vermin, and he kills off 7 Storm Vermin. 7. Oh man, and I'm like, he's in a good spot. He's just going to hopefully be bouncing off, kill off the Warp Lightning Cannon, or kill off the Storm Vermin. And we'll see where that goes. Over here, the Goblin Shaman, I moved them not only back, but I moved them, try to get them out of the charge arc of the Storm Vermin. But at the same time, I didn't want to. The safest spot would have been in the trees, but those trees were another blood forest. So if I would have stayed there, I probably would have took damage, and I only have 1 wound left on him. As for compulsory, sorry, kind of skipping around here, but I have this this fanatic. He swings perfectly back through the Storm Fiends, and he kills off 1 more Storm Fiend and puts on 2 wounds onto the Rattling Gun guy. The other guys, they all kind of bounce through the slaves, and they kill off like a good 7 or 8 slaves, I believe it was. And then over here, the animosity failed onto my savages, and they get since they're in Gorbad's range, they get the free charge. They get a free move, and then if they can charge, try to charge. But unfortunately, they move up to where that guy is standing right there. It's a hill, so I didn't want to put them there, and they all slide off. But they fail the charge because they're in the way of the boar boys are in the way. We're gonna go ahead into I did not charge with my boar boys or my Ragnarok because I wanted to leave the rat ogres open since they have no armor, and just shoot at them for a turn. And I actually moved my Ragnarok back so he's out of a decent dice range for the help hit. The help hit would need like a 16 or an 18 to actually get into the Ragnarok, so I left him alone for a round. Magic phase, I got 5 power dice, and I use 1 in the magic mushroom onto Gravecall. He dispels it because he's like, oh shit, I don't need more stuff in my back. Then I throw the other 5. I channeled 1 obviously, but I threw another 5 onto Foot of Gork, get it off, and I'm going to go ahead and stomp onto these rat ogres. First one drifts off, and it kills off just Squeal, which is perfect and great. I roll for a 4, 5, or 6, get it again, and I do it again, and I only get 1 wound on that one, or 2 wounds, I'm sorry, onto a rat ogre, which didn't kill him off. But I'm gonna go ahead and shoot my shooting phase with my Night Goblins, and my Night Goblins pick off one more Rat Ogre. They do 1 wound, and so that's 1 less at least. As for this guy, he misfires and he blows up, so that sucked. And then this one, he goes ahead and shoots at the Rat Ogres, and he drifts off and flies into nowhere, again, failing to wound. Close combat, my guy right here, he just destroyed the Jezzails. And that's about it. Nobody else is in close combat. Let's start off with Skaven turn 3 now. Charges, charges, charges. He's going to go ahead and charge his Rat Ogres into Gorbad's unit, and of course they're going to elect to stay and fight. These slaves are actually going to go ahead and try to charge into those goblins on this side, trying to clear the fanatics. And then the gutter runners, since they lost their target of the Doom Diver, they're going to go ahead and charge into the rear of these goblins here as well. The ogres, they actually pass their charge, and then these guys pass. They take 2 casualties from running into a fanatic, and that's not bad for running into a death-blowing fanatic. Over here, the gutter runners, they got into the rear, no problem, and the hell pit moves up just a little bit more. He's just kind of can't get through. The storm vermin, they reform this way to kind of look at the rear of the wolf boy. And then this guy, he originally was going to move here and just blast the rest of those goblins. And then he's like, oh shit, that guy's in range, I could just shoot him over there. So he got closer to my my goblin wolf rider over here. So magic phase, he's going to go ahead and do, he gets 10 power dice. He uses a couple onto Scorch. And sure enough, he definitely gets it off, and it goes on to my unit of savages. Now, again, this is probably the first time I actually seen Scorch go off. I didn't know how deadly it was. Killed off 6 savages, no problem, and it hit like 12, and I got like 6 ward saves, but still 6 dead. That sucks. He's gonna go ahead and he tries to do, I believe, the dreaded 13th onto my savages, and I dispel it with my dispel scroll on my Goblin Shaman here. And the other reason was, I mean, I could have probably tried to dice it, but at the same time, this guy's about to die. He's about to get shot, so I might as well use his dispel scroll before it's too late. So shooting phase. His rattling gun just freaking tears holes right through my Goblin Shaman, like I assumed. And yeah, that's 1 dead Goblin Shaman. And then over here, his Warp Lightning Cannon goes ahead and shoots, but it gets a misfire, and it does a wild shot, turns around and shoots off the table edge. Close combat over here, we're going to go, and the gutter runners are the first ones to kill off. They kill off like 7 Night Goblins. Night Goblins kill off 1 slave, and I lose combat resolution by a ton, and I believe I'm going to run off the table edge, and he elects to chase with this the slaves, and the gutter runners stick over there and just watch. This combat over here, Gorbad strikes first always, and he kills off 2 Rat Ogres by himself. The Rat Ogres take aim at the Boar Boys and kill off only 1 Boar Boy back. Strength 5, I got a lot of armor saves on those. And then the Boar Boys killed off 1 more Rat Ogre, and then they caused the Rat Ogres to fail their panic check, and they run away, and Gorbad and the boys catch them, and they're really close to Thanquol and Bone Ripper. We're going to start off Orcs and Goblins, turn 4. Even though that dice says 6, it's supposed to be a 4. And we're going to go ahead and charge. Everybody's charging in, man. Everybody needs to just go, because Gorbad's facing Thanquol and Bone Ripper right now. And we got to tie up that hell pit by throwing the Ragnarok onto the hell pit. That's going to be the battle of the beasties, the big monsters, the Godzilla versus the King Kong. Let's see what's going to happen there. Savages are charging in as well, but they cannot make it. And then the Goblin Wolf Rider is going to go ahead and charge into the rear of Thanquol and Bone Ripper, as well as Gorbad's going to charge into them as well. And as you can see, everybody kind of connected. Over here we had a question about the end of time rules, where Thanquol has a quick to fire on his flamethrower, and we didn't know how to use it on a charge like this. Because normally I thought a warp fire thrower, you just like roll a dice and that's how far it bounces based on where you want to do the template. But if somebody's charging in, can you still do that, or how does that work? And we were 4, 5, or 6 did. I let them shoot me, and he rolled, and it's only like a strength 5, but it definitely wounded. And not only did it wound, it multiplies by D3 wounds, and it killed off my Goblin Lord. That sucked. Over here, my Night Goblin Fanatics, one got really close to that Storm Fiend, but didn't hit him. The other one hits the rocks, and the other one's just kind of swirling around in the center, like always. Magic, I get 6 power dice, and I try to throw him onto a foot, and it does nothing. And I believe that was it. Over here, my Doom Diver, it's going to shoot at these gutter runners, and it kills off 3 gutter runners. Should have been 5 guys there total, so 5 and an assassin, so we totally missed one. And then we're going to go into close combat. Close combat, King Kong versus Godzilla over here, and it's going to be a fun thing, but he gets Flailing Fists. And Flailing Fist allows him to, he actually got 1 wound onto my Arachnarok with it. My Arachnarok actually got 1 wound onto the Hell Pit, and then the Goblins got another wound onto the Hell Pit, which, so right now it's kind of like a stalemate going on. He doesn't run, he's stubborn, he's sticking around, plus he's right by Thanquol and Bone Rippers, which is leadership 10. So, and then over here, Gorbad, he goes ahead and puts 2 wounds onto Thanquol and Bone Ripper, and they go ahead and they try to attack the Boar Boys, and the Boar Boys save. So winning. He's unbreakable though, so he doesn't go anywhere, and he just starts off his turn, turn 4, and he just goes straight into Magic Phase, gets 11 power dice, throws it onto the dreaded 13th, and he throws it right onto my Savages, and look at that. Oh my God, he just destroyed like 17 Savages or something crazy. He almost turned my whole unit into clan rats. Holy shit, I couldn't stop it for the life of me. I was like, what the hell just happened? He just dreaded 13th my whole squad. That was all my backups. And not only that, but since I was touching the forest, that's the Blood Forest, and the Blood Forest gets up, tries to smack my Savages, and it walks away and turns over here. He did move up the Storm Vermin just a little bit, coming towards Gorbad in the group, but besides that, everybody else is just kind of not really moving. They're just kind of watching the big fight at the end. As for the Rattling Gun turns around here and blasts these Night Goblins, and there just no longer exists. And then let's go back to King Kong versus Godzilla. He got, I believe, not Flailing Fist, I believe it's Avalanche of Flesh he got, and he put on like 3 wounds onto my Arachnarok. My Arachnarok does 1 wound again. My Arachnarok actually is doing more wounds. Like, he got that Venom Jaw poison attack, D6 wounds, he regened it. So that sucks, because that would have killed him right there. But he regened the one that mattered. My guy's stubborn, and he's in close proximity to Gorbad as well, so he's just going to sit there and take the pain. Over here, Gorbad puts on another. Right now, Thanquol and Bone Ripper are on 5 wounds. I believe he has 8 total. So 3 more and he's going to die. He goes ahead and he takes out one of my Boar Boys. I'm down to my Champ and my Banner left. And yeah, that's about it. You know, Thanquol and Bone Ripper, they have a very light armor save, and then they have a 4-up ward save. And not only that, Thanquol has a Warpstone Amulet that every turn, if he rolls I believe like a 5 and a 6 or a 4, 5 and a 6, he restores 1 wound. So that sucks. Orcs and Goblins turn 5. Let's go for it. The Fanatic, he runs through the Storm Fiend. Awesome. He hits him. That guy only has 2 wounds left. All he needs to do is 2 wounds. What does he roll? He rolls and he gets 3 attacks, or 3 hits. All 3 of them fail to wound. That guy's still alive, and he died. He ran into the trees. That sucks. Magic Phase, 11 power dice. Okay, my Savage Orc's still alive. I'm going to go ahead and do the Foot of Gork. I'm going to kill some Storm Vermin, and because they're coming this way, and I just need to get rid of some bodies before anything else happens. So I go ahead and I stomp. It drifts off a couple inches that way, kills off 4 guys. I roll 4, 5, or 6 to happen again. It happens again, and I kill off another 3 guys because it drifts again, and then it gets bored and does nothing. That sucks. Doom Diver, it aimed at this middle spot right here, hopefully to drift into either the Storm Fiend or the Gutter Runners, and it misfires. Oh man. And it blows up. It gets a 2, which basically means it blew up. Alright, over here, my savages are moving closer. As you can see, my Arachnarok is going at it with the Hell Pit again. I put another wound onto him. I believe he failed to wound me, and that was about it. And then as for Gorbad and Thanquol, it was a stalemate, no damage done. He's trying to still attack my guys, but I'm still holding still and steady, so I'm good. Storm Vermin try to charge in, and as you can see, everybody else is just kind of closing in around Gorbad and the Ragnarok. That's basically all my units left. And Magic Phase, he gets 4 power dice, and he throws 4 dice onto Scorch, and he basically burns off the last 2 remaining savages, but my Savage Orc Shaman's still there. And then he starts eating his Warpstone tokens that he had saved up on Thanquol, and he does the dreaded 13th onto my Shaman, and he turns my Shaman into a clan rat. You son of a bitch. Oh, that sucks. There's no saves allowed of any kind, no ward saves, nothing. You can't do anything to reverse it except try to dispel it, and I could not dispel it, and he played it very well there, very well done. He did get a miscast though, and on the miscast he rolls a 7, which means everybody in base contact with the wizard who miscasted takes a strength 10 hit. Well, guess what? That's all my guys. God damn it! So he kills off my 2 boar boys, and he puts a wound onto Gorbad that way, and that really sucked. His Warp Lightning Cannon turns to shoot at my Mangler, and my Mangler, by the way, has been bouncing off the walls. He hasn't done anything else but just been bouncing off those stupid walls. So he goes ahead and shoots it, and he gets 2 wounds onto that. And we're going to go back down to this combat here. Bone Ripper does 1 wound onto Gorbad, and guess what? Gorbad does a beautiful hit. Multiplies it by D3. He does 3 wounds. It would kill Bone Ripper. It would kill him. But he ate his thing and it restored the wound. So he's at 7. And they are still there. Crap. As for this fight over here, again, I got a nice whack at the Hell Pit, and he regens them all. You know, the other thing too is the first time he did like Flailing Fist, it does it makes my to hit harder. So normally I would probably need like 3s or 4s, and I'm gonna need 5s now, which that really blows. So I'm just kind of looking for poisons to hit, really. And then as for these my remaining Fanatic, it just kind of runs into nothing. Okay, let's start off the end of the game. Orcs and Goblins, turn 6. Gorbad goes ahead and swings, puts on a wound, he restores it. What the hell? I cannot kill him. He killed me. That's bullshit. I killed him like twice, and he killed me. Oh man, I gotta say though, Gorbad, you know what? Everybody talks shit about him. He's 375 points, and he held on to fighting a 900-point guy. I mean, that 900-point guy wreaked havoc on my whole game. He turned a whole unit of savages into rats. He turned, he scorched people. He freaking dreaded 13th people. He took out a bunch of guys, and Gorbad almost single-handedly took him out for his 375-point worth value. But sure enough, that was just a tough match. That was really fun. Okay, let's finish off over here. Hell Pit versus the Arachnarok. Everybody wants to know who's going to win, King Kong or Godzilla. And if you ask me which one's which, I don't know. We'll save the Hell Pit's Godzilla, though, just because of the tail. But, anyways, he goes ahead and he puts on... He got up to 7 wounds on me. He only had 2 wounds left. I only had 1 wound left. But since I did not have Gorbad's leadership bubble anymore, my Arachnarok breaks and he runs away. And he doesn't catch me, but basically I'm at the edge of the table, and that was basically the end of the game. My Ragnarok's running off the board. He had 1 turn. He's just going to go ahead and chase it or kill it. And yeah, that was the end of the game. It was such a fun match. I really I liked the battle of the bosses and the battle of the monsters, and it was definitely something that was worth worth playing against my brother. It was really late again, and I think by the time we exited, I mean, part of it was too, we were teaching his son how to play. So his son was doing a lot of the rolls and a lot of the moves, and he's trying to figure it all out. But it was definitely just a blast playing this game, and I mean, I enjoy making these videos. I enjoy doing playing Warhammer Fantasy. I mean, who doesn't? If you're watching these videos, but you know, I would like to make more. If you guys like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already, and I'll be putting up more videos very soon as I make some. But this is the last video until this weekend, and this weekend we're having a tournament at the Dice Dojo, so I will at least have 3 more games in here over the weekend. And besides that, take care guys, enjoy the next video that I put up, and I'll see you then. Peace.